Hi, welcome to Page Starter. This is Lisa Furland. Today, I want to talk about is this new thing that I discovered called, it's not new, it's new to me. I just discovered it. It's kind of like, when you buy a used car, you're like, it's new to me. It's been loved by somebody else. So psychologists have known this, but this is called a region beta paradox. And I'm probably not going to explain it as well as, no. See, that's my self-doubt talking. Oh, of course, I'm going to explain it the best way I can. Long and short of it is that you are comfortable in your complacency and you become numb. And it actually is more difficult to be in this very comfortable spot than it is if things were like a little worse, you would work harder to make it better. So you end up just being mediocre. And that's really the worst. Okay, so the actual paradox itself is where, if your destination is a mile away, a kilometer away, right across the street, you're probably going to walk there. But if it was any distance further, you would bike or you would take your car, and thereby you would arrive at your destination much faster and way easier because it crossed this threshold that you have determined required something more to get there. So I do this a lot with my authors when we're setting a crowdfunding goal. If the goal is too easy, you are not going to really push yourself to get there. You need to stretch. It needs to be a little uncomfortable because you need to stretch yourself to get there. It needs to be within the realm of possibility. Like, I'm not going to let someone who has no audience set a $50,000 goal. That's insane. But we want to stretch. We want to push ourselves. We want to test the waters and see how we do and grow in that space. So it's the same idea. So the paradox is that we become comfortable and numb when we are in this complacent zone. And that if we made our situation a little bit worse, we would work harder to get out of it. We would work harder to escape it. It's the same idea. Like, oh, if you're shooting for the moon, shoot for the moon, because then even if you don't make it, you'll land among the stars. Then you're like, oh, this is great. But then what if you're really happy not shooting for the moon? What if you're really happy orbiting space? You're like, no, this is great. I got a great view of the Earth. I don't need to shoot for the moon. You're not near the stars. You're not even among the stars. You're just like low level orbit. Okay, bad analogy, but you understand what I'm saying. If you're too comfortable, you become complacent, and then you become numb, and then you lack motivation to do literally anything. And you just, it turns into like sort of a depressive spiral. And this is totally privileged perspective. I understand that 100%. But this may also be you if you have had any level of success with books already published, like good success, not great, but it's good. Life is good. And that's what they say. They say the enemy of great is not bad. The enemy of great is good. Good is not great. Good will never be great. Good is mediocre. Good is bleh. And we don't want bleh for our lives, do we? So, okay, we're like, this is my struggle. I am in region beta. I am in my own paradox here. I'm in Daniel's paradox. He was the psychologist who was the lead writer on that one. Anyway, so what I'm doing to get out of my region beta paradox, my 1 mile walk, is that I am going to just set a goal that stretches me. It doesn't go, it may not be financial, because finances, not going to lie, aren't a problem. I'm very lucky and privileged in that I don't need to worry about finances. But so for me, my goal is much more, how many people can I impact? How many authors can I help? I'm much more of that. How many people can I help? And that changes my strategy. So your goal very much is going to impact what you do from there on. So if I'm not motivated by money, then I need to focus on serving as many authors as possible in the best way possible, and really getting out, my information, my services, my work to as many people as possible, not worrying about the income, just serving. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to set a goal, fairly lofty goal that stretches me. And then I'm going to break it into milestones. And again, I do this with my clients. We're going to set your goal and then we're going to break it into milestones over how long are you going to give yourself to accomplish this goal. Now, this is different than my detox goal. That's 90 days and that's related to something else. This is like a career goal for the year. Like this year, what do I want to accomplish? Whether that be publishing another book or do whatever. I'm going to set a goal and then break it into milestones. And then I'm also going to spice it up with some celebrations throughout. So some celebrations to motivate. I love going to a spa. I love a good spa day. I love a deep tissue massage. We have Swedish massages here. They're so nice. I love it. I love pampering myself with a spa. So, and I have a spa in mind that I absolutely love. So it's like, okay, if I reach my first goal, it might be like a nice dinner out. My second goal, it might be, a weekend away. And then my third goal, it would be, a larger reward. And I need to think about these and really sit with it and be like, okay, what's really going to motivate me so that I not only keep track of it, but then I reward myself as I go. An app that's really, really good at doing this is Duolingo. Now, Duolingo is, the #1 language acquisition platform, in the world. And it's really because they gamify every aspect of the language learning process. I don't know if you've ever done Duolingo, but they send you notifications, which it touches on your shame. Like, hey, we can't take your language acquisition more seriously than you. Get back in there and start learning. But then once you're in your lesson learning, they really do reward you every time. There are interim goal celebrations, like, yay, 5 in a row, you're doing great. There are little happy noises, and the characters on the screen celebrate every time you get one right. So there is a lot of motivations. Then you gain points. Then you get put into a league where you can see other people who are reaching their goals. And so it's really interesting to watch. So breaking it down and taking it from Duolingo, you absolutely need people who are also doing a similar thing. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. Like on Duolingo, they're not all learning the same language as you are. They're just learning languages. And so it's like, if you are writing, you just need to be around writers who are also doing it. And there are a ton of groups on every platform. Go to Facebook, go to Instagram, like, I don't care. Just find a group that you like and hopefully make it kind of small, or get like a rather intimate group that you feel comfortable sharing your details with. Because if it's too big of a group, it's just noise. It's just very noisy and it's not as meaningful. So I would pick a rather small group. Like I'm thinking like 1,000 people or less, not much more than that, just to get a broad range of experiences and people doing amazing things to show you what's possible and to keep you motivated and to keep you going. That's what I would do. So good people, setting goals, setting milestones, and then rewarding yourself as you hit each milestone so you can keep track. And ultimately, we're shooting for the moon here, right? Maybe we're shooting for the stars. I don't know. Maybe I'm shooting for a low level orbit. But what I want to change is my position. That's what I want. I want to keep moving forward because that is a stage of life I'm in. Now, if this doesn't resonate with you, I totally understand, because for, I want to say a year, I felt the same way. I was coming out of a toxic relationship with an employer. The environment wasn't toxic, but no, the environment was toxic. The environment was toxic, but my coworkers were not. It was much more the structure and the bureaucracy and the red tape. All of that was very toxic. And then, of course, the expectations of everything. It was not great. So coming from that perspective, I didn't want to push myself at all. I was like, you know what? Anything I do is better than that. So I don't care, And so I didn't need to push myself. I didn't need to, do that. And maybe that's you as well. Maybe you're like, no, I'm good. I'm already tapped out. I'm already running at 110%. I don't need to push myself. So that's good. So let me know what works. Let me know how you are keeping yourself motivated and rewarded to reach your goals. And are you celebrating yourself? Are you celebrating enough? I remember when I was in my toxic work employment, I was not celebrated at all. No one said thank you. No one gave me feedback. I was not told, hey, you're doing a great job. That was amazing. I mean, it was just more work on my plate. It was such a thankless environment. And, you finish something, turn it in at 7 p.m. on a Friday, and they're like, great, see you tomorrow. Like, what? Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow on Saturday when you come in and do it again. It's like, oh my gosh. So if you're in that type of a scenario and you're like, I'm burning out, this isn't you do not need to push yourself. You do not need to set goals. You need to take a step back and reevaluate some things and reevaluate what you want to do. But if you're like me and you're like, yeah, I'm lacking the motivation to start something, I think it's time that we set goals and really think about what we want to accomplish and how we want to move forward and how we want to look back. It's already April. How do we want to look back on the rest of the year? So when come December time, when we look back, what do we want to have accomplished? What can we put on a Post-it note every day that can help us get to that? And then we just break it up and we just do it that way. It sounds easy, but it's really not. It's like the simplest, hardest thing to do, right? Anyway. Well, that's it for me today. We're heading into a holiday weekend. So I'm going to relax and not worry about this. And I will see you all next week. Thank you so much for listening to Page Starter with Lisa Ferland. So happy you're here.